Well, I was late if it was actually starting at 7. So, all right, you guys, what's up? What is going on? It is the divisional round edition of the show. It's been a long season, a lot of previews, a lot of breakdowns, and it's all leading up to this. The Eagles' first playoff game of this season. We've got DJ Eastwood of Running Back Philly joining me. I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Yeah, again, thanks for asking me. Excited to talk birds. We got a week of nothing, which is, a weekend of games that we weren't involved in, and then a week of waiting.
So how did you feel about that? Like sitting back, watching everybody else get started. We just have to sit back and watch.
It was nice. It was nice to watch everybody beat each other up, while we're resting. I think it's a balance. Like you kind of feel because the way the season ended for us with Hurts missing those games and stuff, it was like you kind of wanted him to get back into a groove, and then the rest week comes. So, I don't know. I actually don't know how I feel about it. Should we have been, would have been better for us to have been playing and really, really getting back into that groove or resting more. So, yeah, I don't know.
I just didn't like not knowing who we were playing. I didn't like the anticipation. Like, okay, we knew it was gonna be the Seahawks, the Giants, the Bucks, or the little boys. So just as the days went on and like boom, Seahawks eliminated, and I'm like, okay, we're down to 3. And then like it being the Giants do or die. I'm actually glad we found out before Monday night because I wouldn't have wanted to wait. My anxiety couldn't wait until Monday night to find out who we playing.
Yeah, right. So if Minnesota beat the Giants, we would have been waiting to see if the Cowboys beat the Bucks. Yeah. So yeah, that was nice. And then, unfortunately, Tom Brady didn't really help us out with getting the Cowboys out of here the first round.
The one time Tom Brady wants to look 55 years old, like he was old last year when we played him. He didn't want to show his age in the playoffs last year. Like he's been old, but now he want to be old and like show that he's old. That really made me mad.
I always think of Max Kellerman. He's been saying on First Take for like years that Tom Brady's not going to gradually fall off. He's going to fall off a cliff. And so this is the cliff. It's here. He's done.
Yeah. And I'm just mad that they had the satisfaction of being like, oh, we retired Brady, boom, boom, boom. They're going to come with their own little storylines and whatnot. So I had all my TikToks ready to clown them and all that. But shoot, they stayed alive.
Unfortunately, it wasn't even close. The Bucks were terrible in that game. Everything about that team was terrible in that game. So, I don't give the Cowboys too much credit for that.
So, Giants. How are you feeling about playing the Giants? Everybody is gassing them up. And I'm not saying they haven't been looking good because all of a sudden there's a group of Giants. I've never had a Giants fan come across my YouTube page. I can never remember. We've been in the same division forever. We've played them multiple times since I've been on YouTube. I've seen Washington, of course, the little boys. Now, all of a sudden, it's a gang of Giants fans on my page. But it's been so many people on Twitter, and I haven't seen your takes on Twitter. A lot of people on Twitter saying the Giants is going to be easy. If we get the Giants, it's easy. Oh, we got the easiest road to the Super Bowl. How are you feeling about the Giants?
Yeah, it's tough to gauge. I mean, the fans haven't existed for so long because they've been bad for so long, and that's just how, fans are. Not us Eagles fans. I was around in the 90s. We were bad the whole time. We were still loud and proud.
Dude, last season we started 2-5, still dropping that content.
Yeah. So yeah, all the fans popped out once they started to play good. They're hard to assess, man, because like both sides are correct in my mind, but the side that's like I know what they're using. The side that's like this is going to be an easy game. They're using the game that we played them during the regular season when we were healthy, and we played their healthy squad. And we stomped them, what was it, 42-22? 38-22? 48-22? Woo!
Because I was like, 38. We could have dropped a 50 burger on them, but...
Yeah, we could. We could have. Yeah, so if you look at that game, then you could say we totally overpowered them. But also, did the Giants get a little bit better as the season went on? And you can't gauge it by the last game because they didn't play anybody, and we were just kind of jogging around trying to get a W without anybody breaking a sweat or getting hurt. So you can't really use that game at all. But I would have to lean more towards the game where we played them when we were fully healthy and they were fully healthy. And I don't think it's going to be easy though. I think there's some things about the Eagles and John Gannon's defense that I think is a bad matchup for the style of the Giants offense and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a game manager. He's going to sit back there and try to hit crossing patterns over the middle all
They
day.
calling him Vanilla Vic now.
Yeah, Vanilla Vic. Why? Because he can run. I mean, he can run a little bit though, but I guess you don't really think about it. You don't
That's what
really
they
look at
were
a
saying
guy.
last night.
Yeah, you don't look at a guy like that and even remember. I forgot that he can run until you just said that.
Exactly.
Doesn't look very athletic.
He don't, because I just remember him tripping on air in that one game.
Yeah, 94 yards, 84 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
but
that.
I agree. It's hard because it was two totally different games when we played them this season. And the best for me to go by is when we were fully loaded and they were fully loaded. And we saw what happened in that game. And I see what you're saying. The Giants been getting better, but honestly, have they? Because they started the season off hot before they played us. They beat the Packers. They beat the Baltimore Ravens. Before they saw us, like 2 games, people didn't think they were going to win. I'm pretty sure they had another like good win at that point. And then when they played us, I feel like that's when they were the first time they played us. I feel like that's when they were starting to come down a little bit. They're hard too because they have had some injuries. But the second time we played them, I feel like, well, one, yes, we came out there super soft, just playing low managing, basically football. And I'm kind of glad that game was close because now they're going to be awake. If we blew them out twice, I feel like they would be coming in. The Eagles would be coming in a little bit more laxed, a little bit more cocky. But since that game was close against their second string, Darius Webb, I forgot what his name was. Something Webb.
Chris Webb? Davis Webb. Yeah. He couldn't get the ball across the first down marker, man. Or he couldn't get the ball across a line of scrimmage. Yeah, he had trouble even getting the ball like forward, Yeah.
But I feel like since that game was closer, that's good because then they're like, okay, the Giants, feel like they just almost beat us with their third stringers out there. So I think that'll keep us humble going into this third matchup.
Yeah, I think that keeps us humble, and maybe that gets them a little bit ahead of themselves. Maybe they feel like they really did something. Like, oh, this team ain't all that. We put up a fight with our third stringers. Maybe that, gets them back on their heels a little bit, feeling themselves. So yeah, you might be right. I get how do you feel about the last game that we played them? Because I know we played a conservative game. But at the same time, I think we wanted to blow them out and rest everybody in the second half. You know what I mean? And we came out. Yeah, week 7, last game of the season. Yeah, because we came out. We didn't run the ball the first series at all. So that tells me we were being aggressive. I feel like if we really wanted to play conservative that whole game, we would have been a run-heavy style offense. So we were throwing the ball, and I really think we wanted to blow them out the first half and sit everybody in the second half, and it didn't work out that way. But then I still think we definitely kind of coasted the rest of the game and just, Hurts didn't run the ball at all. He didn't even really scramble. Anytime he had a chance, he just kind of ran right out of bounds, which I'm happy about.
I think, yes, in the moment, I was very upset because, again, there's this situation. We should have been able to play our third string that game. Like, we had 2 opportunities to pack that sheet up. And we're both out there low managing. The Giants with their third string, our third string. You know what I mean? But we were in a situation where we had to go out with our starters week 18, which nobody probably predicted by like week 15. Who would have thought we would have been playing in week 18? But I don't know. I was mad because I wanted us to be able to rest at halftime. I wanted Jalen to not have to play the whole game. I wanted the defense not to be able to play the whole game. And since they did have to play the whole game, honestly, now looking back, that might be a good thing because nobody got hurt. And now it won't, us coming off this bye, you can get a little rusty on bye. So the fact that we did play week 18 and not have had technically 2 weeks of a bye, it could work to our favor that those guys stayed fresh and stayed in it. That's a positive, maybe. Us not running the ball, I don't understand. At first, I see what you're saying, like us coming out and attacking, and maybe we weren't low managing since we were throwing so much. I was thinking maybe that Nick Sirianni wanted to prove that Jalen wasn't hurt, like coming out here like, oh, look, he can throw. Look, there's nothing wrong with him. Since that's what we were all wondering, like, is he hurt? What does he look like? And maybe if they just ran the ball the whole time, then these other teams would be thinking, oh, Jalen can't throw right now. Jalen can't throw right now. So maybe that was just to prove Jalen could throw. I am concerned about running the ball, though, when it comes to the playoff time, because that's a no-brainer. And Nick Sirianni's been making it seem like it's something difficult. And people want to say that, we weren't running the ball with Minshew. Like, people were saying, giving Minshew a pass because we weren't running the ball and whatever. We weren't running the ball in that Chicago game. We was running Jalen Hurts. We wasn't running Miles. Like, it's been several games this season where we could have been running the ball way more, and we have not. So that's my biggest concern going in this game against the Giants, is if we're going to run the ball like we're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, I think people forget about last season when, Nick Sirianni didn't even know that running the ball existed until fans were holding up signs, holding up run the ball signs, and, so people forget that. People forget that, he's a little bit crazy. He's a little bit of a maniac. He's a little bit unpredictable. I like his aggression as a head coach. Obviously, I like his passion for the game and his personality and everything. I just think, he's a little ahead of himself sometimes. He might be a little cocky sometimes. Like, we're going to come out here and just toss the ball 50 yards down the field every play and put this team away. And then he's like, oh, snap, we gotta probably run the ball here in the second quarter.
In the second half, way too late. Like, that's the only thing where I don't know about Nick a little bit. I don't know a little bit. Like, because we are loaded down with weapons, and I feel like our weapons, especially on offense, are masking the lack. Well, the main thing that makes me mad is the lack of running the ball. When you got a top running back, you have a top offensive line. Even when Jalen was healthy, I said several times, why are we running Jalen Hurts like a running back when we got Miles Sanders? Mm-hmm. Why is Jalen Hurts got more carries? Why does Jalen Hurts got more yards than Miles Sanders? Like, and we win the game, so we move on from not talking about it. But when it comes to the longevity of Jalen Hurts, we can't keep that up. And this is a dude who last season, like you said, we had to air out, especially in that Dallas game. The first time we played Dallas last season, when he ran the ball like 3 times. This is a dude who we have been trying to pound in his head, run the ball, and he won't do it.
Yeah, I think he gets caught up in believing so much in Jalen Hurts, which I understand why he believes in him, especially this year with the way that Hurts has been playing and throwing the ball and decision making, everything. I mean, the kid was damn near perfect the whole season. Like, I was consistently blown away by what he did this year. I think back to like Michael Vick on the Atlanta Falcons in the early 2000s, and there was nobody on that team, so he had to do that. He was the first 1,000-yard rushing quarterback in NFL history, and he did absolutely everything for that team, and they fell short every time. We don't have, we have weapons. We have a solid roster. We don't have to put Hurts in those positions, and you don't have to make Jalen Hurts be Superman and do everything. You can line up in an I formation and hand the ball off to a running back. Like, that's a thing that you can do. It doesn't have to be RPO, right, and make him make the decision. And, I think too, he has the mindset where he's gonna take off up the middle a lot. And that's what got him hurt in Chicago. The design runs, I think, are what really blew my mind, especially in Chicago in a freezing cold game when the ground was probably concrete. That's a game where I think that I'm not a genius. I can't be a genius. There's no way I'm a genius. But going into that game, I would sit here and say, I'm probably not going to run my quarterback 17 times up the middle in a freezing cold game in Chicago. And I put out that video right after that game before I knew, or I don't remember when I put out that video. The Eagles coaching staff is going to get Jalen Hurts injured. And that's exactly what happened. It was obvious.
That was
stop running him.
After the Packers game. That's when I was saying it. Like, okay, Jalen had 150 plus rushing yards. Like, it's cute to put on a graphic, but in no world should your quarterback have to have, when you have AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, this offensive line, Devontae Smith. Why does Jalen Hurts have 150 plus rushing yards? That's not cute to me. Like, running should be a cherry on top. It should not be the bread and butter. That should be a last resort. That should be here and there. Get a first down here. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be built into our game plan. Jalen Hurts, 15 design runs like in that Chicago game. That's how. And like you were talking about with Michael Vick, yeah, Lamar Jackson don't have those weapons. You got to have Lamar every game being a superhero. Same with Justin Fields. He's got to do all those theatrics to win a game, but let the playmakers be the playmakers. I don't understand. Like, that's not cute having your quarterback have to do all that.
Yeah, especially because this year too, he improved so much as a pocket passer. You don't. Everybody last year, he's only good at throwing on the run. I've still heard people say that this season, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, he just improved so much as a pocket passer. You can hand the ball off to a running back, and you can back up and throw the ball. And when they're not spying, or you get to the outside because the pressure breaks down, and you have 25 yards of green, take off and get out of bounds. He can run and not get pounded into the ground.
So, looking at the Giants, I feel like when it comes to the Giants matchup, it's all going to come down to hungriness for us. Because just keeping it a bean, y'all, we have the better team. We have the better defense. We have the better offense. Everybody want to talk about the Minnesota game. Minnesota's defense is not our defense. Minnesota's offense is not our offense. Let's just start with freaking Kirk Cousins to Jalen Hurts. Their pass rush is not our pass rush. That we've seen it. We've seen it that first time we played the Giants. The game was over by 7 minutes into the game. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Danny couldn't do nothing with that pressure pack we kept sending up there. Okay? So I think this is only going to come down to motivation. Because one thing about them Giants, they are scrappy. They're the underdogs. We've seen Miami going up against Buffalo. We've seen Baltimore going up against Cincinnati. You don't want to play a lesser opponent who's scrappy and got nothing to lose but to beat you. We have all the pressure from the media. What do you think what's your biggest concern? Because my biggest concern is the motivation.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern is they need to be aggressive defensively. I think that the defensive front for the past couple of years, for actually maybe Howie Roseman's entire tenure in Philadelphia, the defensive front has covered up a lot of things, in the linebacker area, the secondary area. And to us this year, just from what I've seen, when we get to the quarterback and make his life difficult, we succeed the most. And when we don't get to the quarterback, it seems like Gannon, plays that cushion zone defense a lot. He doesn't want to give up the big play, and that's when a quarterback can stand there in the pocket and eat you alive over the middle. And I think Daniel Jones can do that. He's that kind of quarterback. Like I said,
he was doing it against the Vikings. He was hitting that tight end heavy.
Yeah, he's a game manager. He can sit back there and make the slant throws and the little out throws. And if you're not being aggressive and you're not getting pressure on him, those two things, creativity defensively, bring the house once in a while. Sneak in a CGJ safety blitz. Sneak in a something. Be a little bit creative. You can't just sit here and zone it out the whole game, especially if your front four is not getting pressure. If your front four is getting pressure, then you're good to go. You can sit back there in the zone because he's going to be scrambling for his life the whole game. So it's all about the front four getting pressure to me, I think. And if they're not getting pressure, you need Jonathan Gannon to adjust and not just sit there and let them get killed over the middle of the whole game. Because that's probably my biggest fear is that if you're not getting pressure on Jones, he can stand in the pocket and just hit you over the middle, 5 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards, 12 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, straight down the field.
So are you concerned about Jonathan Gannon? Because, I feel like 70% of our fan base is not rocking with Jonathan Gannon. How are you feeling about him?
Yeah, I think he's just like most professional coaches that I've ever really watched or, watched over a period of time. They get to a certain level and they get this ego and they get this pride and they refuse to adjust because of that. They think like
Mhm.
I got like think about the level you are at in the sports world. I got to this level. Do you think anybody in this room knows more than me? I think that's the mindset some people get when they get
Yeah,
up there. And they have their own philosophy and they kind of refuse to accept when it's not working because this is what got them that far. So they're kind of, this is going to work. It worked to get me all the way to a defensive coordinator job in the NFL. It's going to keep working. And they refuse to adjust. And I think Jonathan Gannon gets that. He has an ego and he just runs his same system into the ground. I mean, you giving up 35 points against the Detroit Lions in week 1. He didn't
yeah,
adjust anything that entire game. It just over the middle, over the middle, over the middle killed us. Last year, the quarterback that it was probably uh, the one you didn't want to face with that kind of zone defense, Tom Brady, probably the best, maybe the best quarterback of all time. I would say definitely the best over the middle check down quarterback of all
yeah.
time. And he just straight down. I predicted that I said this is exactly what's going to happen. Tom Brady over the middle all day. He's going to eat us up, and he did. And like you said, he aged 10 years in 1 year, so he's done now. But yeah, I think that's Jonathan Gannon's issue. I think he has an ego, and I think that's why most of Philadelphia wants him out of here. I think he's been taking interviews for head coaching jobs also
Mhm.
because Nick Sirianni also has an ego.
Yep.
But I think Nick Sirianni, real isn't afraid to get his point across that I am the one in charge here. I'm over top of everybody. And if I had to guess, they've probably had some disagreements and some arguments about what Gannon should be doing defensively. I think there was one game where Sirianni kind of called him out in a press conference, kind of said like, we're going to switch things up if it's not working. Didn't say his name or anything, but um, we got beat up defensively, and he said something slick like that. Like, I basically was saying, like, I wish I would have
I don't
got the
remember
quote
that.
before I came in here. He said something like, I have my hands in everything, and if I think something needs to adjust, I'm going to adjust it
Um,
myself. So, wouldn't shock me. But
I
yeah,
give
I would be fine. I would be fine if he took a job somewhere else. I don't think he's spectacular at all. I don't think he's any better than, the
yeah,
average NFL defensive coordinator.
especially with all the talent, like with all the talent we have, like I've been impressed, of course, with the defense this year, but it's definitely the talent and not the coaching. And I give Gannon a little bit more credit just as of lately because in that Saints game, he did tighten up at the half. Now, some people want to say, oh, why did it take him until the half to tighten up? But at least he tightened up at some point. I'm sick of Nick Sirianni coming in these press conferences, getting asked about running the ball. Oh, yeah, we need to look at that. We do need to be running the ball more. We have the greatest running back in the world and Miles Sanders, and he's phenomenal, and we want him to get his touches, and he has his goals, and we have his goals for him, and we want to see him getting that, and we want to see him getting the ball and getting more touches. He says that every week we come out, and it's just when we started running the ball against the Saints, it was working. I just don't get why it took so long. When in the Dallas game, it was working. What took so long? Like, start running the ball early, establish the run early. It's not rocket science. Like, football is built on pressure in the trenches and running the ball. It's really not that deep, especially when you got an offensive line like we got in Miles. I don't get why. I feel like you said, it's them being cocky, and I feel like it's the youth about them too, trying to be flashy and cute instead of just keeping it what it is. Like, you see these old coaches doing what works. Like, it might not be
Mhm.
cute, it might not be flashy. You don't get no style points. It's just wins and losses at the end of the day. So I just think it's with them, that youthness, them being young, trying to prove something, trying to be cute and clever. Just run the dang ball, hand the ball off. It works when we do it. I don't get it.
Yeah, and the system that they've put together for Jalen and is heavy, motion RPO. It's heavy RPO. It's heavy. The quarterback's making the decision here, and you rely on Jalen to make the right decision, and he does that. He did that phenomenally this year. Just reading the defensive end. I remember that. I like to bring it up whenever the Cowboys fans start talking when how Jalen beat Micah
When do
Parsons
they
without.
not start talking?
how Jalen beat Micah Parsons without anybody blocking him, just staring at him and either taking off up the middle himself or handing the ball off him, and Micah was just standing there and didn't know what to do. So I think they put that system together for Hurts, and it works so well that Sirianni kind of feels like a genius. This is the system that's
Mhm.
going to take over the NFL. And then he refuses to change it quick enough when it's not working. Also with playing a game with Minshew, it was funny that they didn't adjust the offensive game plan at all. They just thought they could stuff Minshew in Jalen Hurts's. Maybe that was that. Was that the coach saying like, my system is everything? I can just plug Gardner Minshew into this system and it's going to work. And that's what they try to do. And Gardner Minshew, I mean, you know, God bless the guy. He's he looked like he was stuck in quicksand the whole game. And I didn't know he was that slow. I thought he could move a little bit.
Slow is too nice. He was immobile. He could not move. Like, slow to me is Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady was slow, but he could move. I didn't see Gardner in this. He was a little more active in the Dallas game, but in that Saints game, he seemed stuck like glue, man. Like, he was immobile. But that's what pisses me off about this coaching staff a little bit. Like, yeah, we're winning and boom, 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 boom. But next season, we might not have all these pieces that we have when it comes down to money. And you got to step up coaching-wise. We saw when you bring in, there were so many teams this season and still up until now who are working with their backup quarterbacks, their third-string quarterbacks, and still out here getting wins and making it do what it do. Heck, last week, Charlotte's Webb with the Giants, he was out there handling his own. That's coaching. Cooper Rush winning them games. That's coaching. You got Brock Purdy out here carrying the Niners. That's coaching. Why couldn't y'all win us one little game with Minshew or keep us in the game? That's what has me sketchy about this coaching staff, because it's going to be times where Jalen's going to be out again in the future. Like, the style, the way he's playing, the way he plays, you're going to get hurt at some point. If it's a game, maybe 2 games, whatever. Can y'all coach and win a game with the backup quarterback? You should be able to win a game. So that's what has me looking at them extra funny, was when Minshew. So if Jalen's not playing, y'all can't win? Or even fake the funk a little bit?
Yeah, maybe that was a reality check, not just for everybody that was saying it's the system, it's not Hurts. That was a reality check for those people. Maybe it was a little bit of a reality check for the Eagles coaching staff too. Like, oh, snap, it's not our system. It's Hurts. We need him. We need him back, and we need to protect him. We need to probably not rush him 17 times. Yeah, maybe that was a little bit of a reality check for them. We were also, people bring it up to me, and it's true, and I guess I don't think about it enough, that when Lane Johnson went out, everything changed. Everything changed when Lane Johnson went out. So that's a huge factor, getting him back.
True. That's true. Yeah. And the Giants, now, I'm not saying the game against the Giants should not have been as close as it was. I'm not saying that. But I don't think the Giants realized, okay, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was coming back from a lacerated kidney. He wasn't playing to his usual oomphness. Avonte Maddox has been out, still out. Josh Sweat was not playing, and Jalen Hurts was on load management night. So it's not like we didn't have Lane Johnson either. So it's not like we were full throttle and full strength, like throwing everything we got at y'all, and y'all managed to keep yourself in the game. We was low managed and injured too. Now, it shouldn't have been that close, but I don't think that they realized that was not the same birds that y'all played earlier in the season. But let me ask you this. What you think about when we should pay Jalen Hurts? Because when Jalen Hurts got his all-pro selection, his agent tweeted out, "Where can I find a Brinks truck with the looking eyes?" And there's some people who I've talked to who think we should hold off on extending Jalen until the next season. And then there's some people who believe we should go ahead and extend him this offseason, regardless of what he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that that's up to Jalen Hurts of anybody, because what he did and what he looked like throwing the ball this year at 22 years old, you're going to pay him you're going to pay him regardless. I don't think Jalen Hurts is the kind of guy to say like I'm going to sit out training camp if I don't get an
Yeah.
extension. I would never expect him to be that kind of guy. I think he knows he's going to get paid. Um, and Howie Roseman's the money man. Howie Roseman's known for making money work and being
Mhm.
able to work contracts and push money into the future and get players to agree to certain deals to free up cap space this for the rest of this season, going into all those little things. So if Howie comes to Jalen and says, "Look, man, we're going to pay you, but we want to make another Super Bowl run next season, and we need a little bit of cap space to keep whoever on the team um, for that season. So can you just wait one more year, and you're going to get your 5 year whatever the year after that?" And I would think Jalen Hurts would be fine with that. He would say, "Yeah, that's cool, bro. Let's go chase another Super Bowl." But if Jalen would say, or his agents would say, we want to be paid right now, you got to pay him right now because he's 22 years old. And I thought it was going to take him more than one off season to uh, progress in his pocket passing ability. I thought it was going to take him 2 or 3 years just to become that guy that can stand in the pocket and kill you down the field. And he just did that. He did that in one off season. He's 22
Mhm.
years old. Who knows what he can improve on? I mean, he literally is all he might be the MVP of the NFL this year. Who knows what he could improve on in the next couple of years? And yeah, I just think people think it's crazy to put his name in there where I put it now, but it's a Patrick Mahomes situation almost for me, where he's so young and so good.
Yeah.
Give him a 20-year contract.
And the locker room rocks with him heavy. They even when he sucked last year, they all had his back. Jordan Mailata had his back. So I'm saying, even when he was bad, they still love Jalen Hurts. So I'm saying he has the intangibles. But my thing is, I feel like we need to pay Jalen this offseason, not because I think Jalen's gonna be like, pay me now, or fear. But Jalen is only getting better, and that price tag is only going to be going up, in my opinion. If he takes
Mhm.
another leap next season, or heck, once them other dudes start getting locked up, Herbert, Burrow, and they start raising up that price, we might have to pay Jalen more.
Yeah, you might be right. You kind of want to be ahead of the curve of that generation of quarterbacks. You're right. Yeah, those if those guys get 50, 55 million a year or
Mhm.
something like that,
They
then it
love
becomes
Herbie.
normal where maybe you could have saved 10, 15 million on that contract if you do it sooner. So yeah, you might be right about that.
We're gonna have to see. It's gonna be interesting, especially since that she put that pressure out there talking about the Brinks truck. Um,
How did you
but
feel
what do
about Jalen? How did you feel about Jalen last year? Because I was, people rip me a lot this season for the things that I said last year, but I didn't see the passing ability from the pocket. And I guess I got a little bit cocky because I predicted what was going to happen in the Bucks playoff game, and that's exactly what happened. Was they were going to force him to throw from the pocket, and he wasn't going to get it done from the pocket. And then he comes out this year and looks like a completely different pocket passer, and
right?
he was just in my mind like top 5 in all different quarterback categories. So I was totally wrong about him. I don't feel like I was wrong about him last year. I feel like I was wrong about him being able to change that
Yeah,
in one off season, which I don't think a lot of people thought he could change that in one off season.
yeah. I've been following Jalen since college, his college journey and everything. So I've known Jalen as what you would say a dog. He's always had that dog mentality in him. So since we drafted Jalen, I always figured Jalen was gonna be the type of player that came in the league, no matter what team he went to. I was surprised when we drafted Jalen because he was somebody that I was following in college, and that never happens. But I always knew Jalen was going to have this type of NFL career because, again, the intangibles. And you can say what you want about the intangibles, but if you have the work ethic, I feel like if you have the humbleness to want to work on anything and you dedicate the time to anything, you can achieve that. And Jalen has always proven in his college career, starting in his football career, starting in college, that he was humble and he was hungry. So obviously last season I was not impressed with Jalen playing last year. I mean, we can't deny there was a lot of things, force feeding guys, force feeding Jalen Reagor. Like he was not being able to go through his reads, not very accurate on the deep ball. But Jalen is somebody who's young, and he kept reiterating the fact that he was going to work. And when I saw after that playoff game against the Bucks, and Jalen, you know, as they all do, blaming everything on themselves. You know, the leader of the team is always going to be like, I could have done more, I could have done more. But when Jordan Mailata stayed after the press conference, and they said Jordan Mailata was crying, watching Jalen Hurts blame everything on himself, I was like, this dude is different, because the belief that he has from the locker room, it's got to be something there that they're seeing at practice that we're not seeing from Jalen. I am absolutely shocked that he took this leap as fast as he took it. I honestly thought it would take 2 to 3 years for him to take that leap. I'm shocked at how fast he took it, but he's so young. He got thrown into the fire. He didn't have, I kept saying we needed to get that big body X receiver like we have in AJ Brown for him, which we didn't have last season. We wasn't running the ball as much as we should have last season, especially early on. And all of that hindered his development. But shoot, the jump that he took, I don't think anybody could predict him taking that jump in one off season. And when Nick, and then we're talking about it at training camp, like, oh, he looks so much better. I just thought they was talking. I thought that was all talk.
Yeah, it was wild. Then he came out that first live practice and hit AJ Brown down the sideline like a dime into the back corner of the end zone. And I was like, wait a minute.
Right. Wait a minute.
And his deep ball has been it's just been so accurate this year. I feel like that's rarely off target. Running to his left, running to his right, or just standing in the pocket. Like, yeah, he's blown me away. So I'm happy he's here. I'm happy he did what he did. I'm happy I was wrong about him being able to do that fast. And I'm happy he's, you know, what is he, 23 years old?
Yeah, I think he's 23.
You can't ask for a better situation moving forward.
Right. I think too, like, just Devontae Smith, like, because Devontae came in the league with a lot, like Jalen, with a lot of doubters because of his size, how tiny he was and how tiny he still is. And just seeing Devontae Smith, like, the way he be making plays and showing up, like, he has been everything that was advertised for him in college. I was because it was Jamar Chase, it was Jalen Waddle, it was Devontae Smith, and of course they, you know, ranked a lot of times Devontae Smith last in the bunch because of that size. And I was heavy on the Jamar Chase hype train, and of course Jamar Chase has been doing his thing. But Devontae Smith, the way the dude be making plays, I just feel like in this game against the Giants specifically, they can't hold us. Like, whatever Jonathan Gannon do, it's going to come down, of course, to Jonathan Gannon. But this offense, like the way Devontae, them catches, the tiptoeing on the sideline, those little hands, those short hands. And then you got AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert back. Like, Dallas Goedert hasn't played with Jalen Hurts in so long. He did come back in the Giants game, but getting that continuity back with Dallas, AJ, and Devontae Smith, that trio, I'm too emotionally attached. Like,
yeah, I think they needed their game plan should just be what they did against most teams this season, which was just make them pick your poison. Like, we're gonna either start out the game hitting AJ Brown on those quick slants that if you don't have your game plan right, he can break for 30, 40, 50 yards. Last week, the first quarter, he just a quick slant. He went for like 37 yards up the middle. And then you kind of wait for the defense to adjust to AJ Brown, and then you say, okay, now we're going to show you Devontae Smith and what he can do. And, you know, there's been games where both of these guys were over like 120 yards apiece. And I think that's really what we need to do. Establish that early and balance the run game in at the same time. And I don't think the Giants can hang with it. And, you know, if you get pressure on Daniel Jones, make his life hell back there in the pocket, make him be Vanilla Vic, you know, prove it to us. You know, I think we got it. I think it should probably look like what it looked like that 2 Giants games ago, that 48-22 game. I wouldn't expect maybe not 48-22 again, but I don't think we'll have a huge difficulty with
Yeah,
this
out of all
game.
the teams, I mean, after seeing the Bucks last night, how just terrible they were. I mean, of course, the Bucks would have probably been one of the easiest matchups, but I feel like we should be comfortable with the Giants. Not easy, but comfortable because we have played them so much this season. We've beaten them in two different ways, in a close fashion, in a blowout fashion, with lane, without lane. We've seen a lot of them. Let me ask you lastly, what do you feel like? We got a lot of contracts. Who are your priority players to bring back next season? Miles, James Bradbury, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I feel like we all agree Kazir White can walk. He started out real hot, and then I haven't been hearing that name called in a minute. But Javon Hargrave, it's a lot of decisions to be made, especially on defense.
Yeah, I was huge on Kazir White, but having having the young Georgia, having the Kobe Dean. I was gonna say the young Georgia linebacker. His name escaped me right there. I didn't see him much this season, so I forgot his name. But yeah, having the Kobe Dean back there coming up, and the one game that he did get in, what did he have? Like he had I think he led the team in tackles, and he only played 15 snaps.
Yep.
Yeah, the Kobe Dean's gonna be a stud when he gets a chance. So yeah, I think at the linebacker position, I wouldn't expect Kaiser White to come back. And I was really high on him in the offseason too. I like him, and you're right. You're right. He started the season hot, and haven't really heard his name much. Javon Hargrave. Yeah, the Miles Sanders one is the one that's the biggest question mark. I guess that was the biggest question mark coming into this season, and that's still the biggest question mark just because of I think the way the NFL is going. And do you pay running backs big money? I think Miles had a great season this year. It was the first time I think he was the healthiest this season that he's been in a couple of seasons, and so we got to see like the best version of him. I still don't think we used him enough in certain games, but yeah, it's like do NFL teams pay running backs big money anymore? You're seeing the Dallas Cowboys. Their best running back is not their highest paid running back right now. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I would like Miles Sanders to come back, but I think if you're trying to save money and you're trying to pay some other guys at some positions that maybe you think are more important as far as just the NFL game goes all around, Miles might be that guy that doesn't get re-signed. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I love Miles. I'm not. I would, of course, if Miles want to stay on discount, of course, come right back. But assuming Miles, like everybody, wants to get their money, I'm just sorry. Yeah, like we were saying, the running back position, especially with this offensive line, the way we've been developing this offensive line, keeping these guys ready in the rotation, we could put a lot of dudes back there, and they can, not necessarily be a Pro Bowler, but they can be productive. So James Bradbury, we agree. Kazir White, Nakobe Dean is waiting in the wing.
Mm-hmm.
James Bradbury, I feel like we have to bring James Bradbury back. There's some people saying let's draft a corner, his replacement. Drafting corners for us has not worked. We have not developed any dudes. We had to get Darius Slay ready. We had to go get James Bradbury ready. We don't develop cornerback, at least not outside corners. So I feel like we have to bring James Bradbury back because we got a lot of young corners who, when they come out on the field, they ain't ready. And I don't know whose fault that is, but I'm not gambling with it.
Yeah, no, it's tough to gauge. A corner in college, can he hang with NFL receivers? Can he hang with NFL quarterbacks? It's tough to gauge when you have somebody that is playing at the level that Bradbury's playing at. Yeah, I think he's probably a top priority. Especially Darius Slay. Not that Slay has really slowed down yet, but he's 31, 32.
Oh, don't say he hasn't slowed down because he been real regular play Slay lately. He been looking real regular play.
He got burned at the end of that Giants game, and then he was laughing about it. So, yeah. But yeah, Bradbury's definitely up there. Gardner Johnson, I love that dude. I was so happy when we signed him, and I did a little play breakdown of him against Tom Brady in the playoffs a couple years ago, or maybe in the regular season. But I just love that dude's attitude, and at the safety position, I've been missing a safety with attitude
Mhm.
for a long time. And then he was leading the NFL in interceptions before he got that injury. But I get a little bit of I liked Malcolm Jenkins. I liked him the whole time he was here.
I
But I never
love
got
Malcolm.
that real dog Brian Dawkins feeling from
He
him. You
was
know what I
real
mean?
pastor son. There ain't nothing wrong with it. I love
Yeah.
Malcolm Jenkins, but no, he
CJ
didn't have
gives
that
me
fire.
CJ gives me that Brian Dawkins feeling a little bit. That guy's gonna fly in there on a sneak little safety blitz or something, get in the backfield, and then he's all over the place. He's an animal. I mean, this dude got punched in the face by his own teammate. That tells me he's a dog, and I need him on my team.
I agree. James Bradbury is a priority to me. I've said it several times. We've been saying draft a corner we're not going to draft a corner in the first round. Howie has made that known. And we're going to wait till the third, fourth round, and them dudes aren't going to be ready. Zach McPherson, where you been? I forgot. Cut Kayvon Wallace. Where you been? We have to get a ready-made. And Quezzy the Great. What's up, bro? No. Because we've proven we are not developing a cornerback or a wide receiver. God bless Devontae Smith was NFL ready. Because who are the wide receivers we developed lately? That's why we had to go import A.J. Brown. Wide receivers and quarterbacks, we not developing them.
Yeah, I just think in today's NFL, man, it is what it is. I love Miles Sanders, but especially with the style of offense the Eagles run and the style of offense a lot of NFL teams run, the way that it's going, you can just kind of get another 22-year-old running back out of a draft. You can just kind of get another dude that can take the ball and run through the hole. Like, you don't need, and I guess, like, have NFL teams ever needed superstar running backs? Barry Sanders was maybe the best running back of all time. They never won anything. They never went anywhere. Adrian Peterson, though, for how feels like 30 years on the Minnesota Vikings, he was the best running back anyone's ever seen. Did they go anywhere? You know what I mean? Like, do you really need a star running back? I don't think you do. I think Jalen Hurts and whoever the hell you can get under the cap, put him back there.
Sis, you telling me no other top cornerback? Why get another top cornerback when we got one, Quezzy, we got one. Why would we go find another one when we got one who already know the system, who already know everybody? Come on, make it make sense. All right, y'all. DJ he's doing a live stream. You doing a live tonight before I start lying?
Yeah, Sixers Clippers at 10 o'clock. Yuck. On the West Coast.
We gotta let him out of here. We gotta let DJ out of here. Y'all make sure y'all go to his live. He makes Eagles content, but you are definitely mainly known for your Sixers content, right?
Yeah, I'm a hoop head for sure. Okay. I'm obsessed with basketball my whole life.
Be there tonight. He's gonna be live. Sixers Clippers West Coast road trip. We got the dub over the Lakers, even though LeBron wanted to put a little fight. Love LeBron, but nah. We got to end on this, okay? Thank you for the super chat. Pizza is better in Philly. And by the way, why the heck do New Yorkers call hoagies heroes? They
backwards.
Okay, Giants stink. Now, Nick Sirianni said in the press conference today that they were all eating Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza while they were watching the Giants Vikings game. And a lot of people on Twitter were up in arms. I love Pizza Hut. Apparently, people don't like Pizza Hut, but
what were they up in arms about?
They were like, Pizza Hut is disgusting. Nick Sirianni always trying to start a debate. Why are y'all eating pizza in Philly when we got all these other restaurants?
Oh, yeah, they were in Philly eating Pizza Hut. All right, yeah. I mean, there's some damn good pizza in Philly. Yeah, I don't care. I think, last minute they were on DoorDash or something. They were like, boom, Pizza Hut. It's right around the corner or whatever. That's probably what happened. But there's some damn good pizza in Philly. That's a million times better than Pizza Hut. I agree.
Okay. I'm just like, I don't know why people are coming. I love Pizza Hut.
Do you really? Pizza Hut to me is like the Applebee's of pizza.
Okay, fast food. Okay, of course, like smaller chains and like local, like non-chains, like family-owned restaurant pizza. Of course, that's always going to be the creme de la creme. But when it comes to like, if you're having an event and you got to order 20 boxes of pizza, when it comes to Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut is the best out of fast food.
Have you been to Taconelli's?
Mm-mm.
We went to Taconelli's because my sister made a sign that said something like Bryce Harper, you're hotter than Tacanelli's pizza. And and the Phillies retweeted it, and then they invited her to Tacanelli's because it's Bryce Harper's favorite pizza spot. And yeah, I gotta say it's night and day difference.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that. Because if the
Tacanelli's,
Eagles
man.
win, I'm gonna be up there for the championship game. So I'm gonna have to try that. But y'all, I appreciate you hopping on.
This was fun.
Yes, we definitely have to have you back on, especially when it gets Sixers full-fledged time for me. I know you always full-time Sixers, but y'all know where to find him. Run It Back Philly on YouTube, on Twitter. Make sure y'all go check out his live stream tonight. Sixers versus Clippers. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.